Kentucky football is back. The season is here, and so is 11 personnel. I'm Nick Roush. That's Adam Luckett. We're brought to you by our friends at Monticello Bank, where today it was Kentucky football media day. We also got an open practice. We got a lot to talk about here on 11 personnel, but we got to do it quickly so we don't run out of fumes, because it has been a long day. We got here. Mitch Barnhart started talking at 9:30. I don't think he ever stopped talking. And it went right all the way into practice, which we got, 2 hours on the sun. Beautiful day, like first and foremost. We got some football weather back, like it, and like that, it gets the juices flowing when you're not getting roasted out there. It was awesome.
Yeah, I think first things first, I thought the tone for Stoops early on Monday, right? And then Mitch today was interesting, and they're notable. Mm-hmm. More direct,
yeah,
I would say.
Kind of odd.
Not
kind of nice,
Yeah.
Not a bunch of they were straight shooting us.
Willing to answer questions.
Yeah.
Willingness specifically about some of the big picture topics, both surrounding Kentucky and surrounding college football at large. 8 versus 9 game, rev share. Is football going to have enough money to be competitive? Mm-hmm. Is basketball going to, are they going to get their share too? So I thought that was interesting. They peeled the onion back a little bit. Like, I learned about football partial scholarships today, Nick.
Yeah, it's a new thing.
I did not know about that. So basically, you have 85 scholarships.
Yeah.
But you can use 30% and 70% to pay for a player. It's kind of the old baseball thing. Baseball had 11.7, and they would typically guys wouldn't get full scholarships. Everyone would have a partial,
right,
just depending on the percentage. So that's a way for the teams to build a roster. So Kentucky, we've kind of alluded to this when we talked about it over at KSR Plus and here on 11 Personnel, that they were kind of over the 85 number scholarship players, but now that makes more sense.
Right.
So that was good to know. Also, like, the 20.5 number is a 20.5, but part of that is the money you have for scholarships.
Yeah. So they have actually 80 more scholarship athletes at UK, but 150 total, because you lost a lot of walk-ons. But in order to retain some of those walk-ons with that 85 scholarship limit for football, is you break up some of that scholarship money, hand it on out, because they are at 95-ish, 90?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have them right at 88, I think, scholarship players.
But then it's a good chunk of walk-ons.
Wilson Berry, Jason Ekpero, Chris Thompson, that linebacker they just randomly added from Nashville.
Yeah.
A couple others. Yeah, they were right at kind of like that 90 number, I would say.
Yeah. So a lot of stuff we learned today. I actually don't want to start from the beginning, though. Like, that's some of it. But, like, let's be honest, like, we just saw in practice. I kind of want to talk about what we saw.
Sure, yeah. I mean,
because that's fun.
Yeah,
right?
we're at the football season. Like, all that stuff Mitch said was important, and I would highly advise, if you haven't watched it, go watch it. He talked about some important topics.
Oh yeah.
His answer on 8 versus 9 was interesting. It sounds like we're going to get an answer for the 2026 schedule here pretty soon. Mm-hmm. So we should know what the Kentucky's 2026 schedule is going to look like. But now we're in season mode. Now we can start shifting into the season and talking about what's going to happen on the field this fall and react to what we're seeing. Right.
And he was unwilling to say how they're going to split up revenue. But I think overall there was some real confidence from him, some confidence from Stoops earlier in the week. Mm-hmm. Overall that, hey, we're in a good spot here. The plan is in place. We're helping 6 sports out with this new revenue sharing deal. And right now, things are looking good. It's subject to change, so they're trying to do some things to protect themselves if it does change. But, the devil's in the details, and frankly, I don't feel like diving into it right now because we are on like hour 8 or whatever. And we just watched practice, so I wanted to get into that before we circle back around to fan day. A little reverse chronological order. I got some recency bias, and so I want to talk about Cutter Bully, but first I need to tell you about our friends at Monticello Bank, proud presenting sponsors of 11 Personnel. They've been with us for a while. What is this, like season 3? Kentucky football season 3, maybe 4?
I think so.
It's been a while, and we appreciate them sticking by us. They've been sticking by people in the Commonwealth for over 125 years. They got branches all across the state. It's where people matter, Monticello Bank. Whether you want to use the equity in your home, maybe you're just looking for a new mortgage, whatever it may be, they are the bankers you can trust. GoNBCBank.com is where you can visit them online. And like I said, they got a bunch of different locations across the Commonwealth. Check out their HELOC special now. Unlock that home equity line of credit with Monticello Bank. Monticello Bank, it's where people matter. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Football practice like it. What do you think? That's going to be good?
I had some people asking me, so Luckett, what's the record going to be? Who's going to lead us rushing and who's going to lead us
Love
passing?
that. I always love the record.
Break it all down for me.
Because some of the plays, you're like, 3 wins. Some of them, shit, we're in the New Year's 6. But the thing that's kind of nice is, so the media just got to watch Friday. Fan Day is tomorrow, Saturday morning. We'll have a rapid reaction up on the KSR YouTube channel. If you aren't subscribed already, what are you doing? But what's nice, it kind of stinks that it's back-to-back. The data points that we're getting in the preseason are so close to another because you would like to see where the growth is. But in this instance specifically, I'm fascinated to see what's Cutter Boley like today versus tomorrow. Because the Cutter Boley we saw at Texas, you see it. You see the lights go off. Cutter Boley at Louisville, much different story. And the Cutter Boley we saw today, you got those flashes like it. And I think it must be stated that it was primarily working against the 2s. You know, he got a little bit of run with the 1s, but I think as Bush Hamden said, it's about 75% Calzada. So he's facing lesser defenders, but man, you saw the patience, you saw a good feel in the pocket, and most importantly, like he was delivering balls to receivers and hitting them right as they got open, right? Like waiting for, whatever their mesh routes. Like I bet he hit Quisenberry, 4 times on those little bloops down the field?
Yeah, just like a little sail route.
I mean, just kind of like bob and weave and then flick of a wrist. And it's usually right as they're breaking away from the defender past the zone and getting these huge gains. So it was a great day for Cutter Boley. And you saw some moments from Calzada, but it wasn't the best day for Calzada, particularly when things got tight in the red zone. He had a couple picks late where the safety just read him like a book.
Yeah, for me, I think Cutter just like playing loose, I would say, getting out of the pocket, just kind of making some, changing the arm slot, making throws, hitting the ball with accuracy. You just see the arm time. I mean, everyone knows this kid can throw the football.
And it seemed to be, instead of it happening every once in a while last year, like he was pretty steady throughout this whole practice.
He looked comfortable out there. So I think that was good to see.
Very encouraging.
I think some of the 11-on-11 and red zone stuff we saw from Calzada, he wasn't seeing things, I would say, very well.
But first day in pads.
Yeah. Just one practice, so you don't want to take too much out of that. But yeah, I thought what Cutter was probably one of the big winners today. To me, one of the things that really stood out, and this shouldn't have been a surprise because of what we heard during talking season, but like Seth McGowan is clearly their starting running back. Yeah. Like clearly.
And I would say just star player, period. Like just this guy's going to be our guy on offense.
Yeah, like clearly he is their starting running back. And so that to me, I'm not surprised by that, but it is kind of like, they think like really highly of this guy.
Yeah. And I enjoyed talking with him today, not to go all the way back to media day, but it was one of those conversations. You talked with him for a while too, Luckett. We're like, okay, I need some time to be able to dedicate to this because he was pretty open about his story and just the level of maturity is there and you could see why they trust that even though he got into some trouble, like this guy is excited for this opportunity to be able to play. I think you said he had a torn pec last year that he played through behind a banged up offensive line with a new coach. So like the circumstances weren't great for him and he still found a way to succeed. And he's a lot bigger than I thought too, Luckett, because he's billed as this explosive playmaker. He's got some juice, but he looks as big as Dante Dowdell, who's,
absolutely.
Best short yardage back in America. I will say one thing before I forget. One thing I did like about Calzada, Luckett, if it's third and medium, he's hitting those stick routes like that. I mean, he puts the ball on you. And there's no hesitation.
He does a good job playing on time. And what I really mean by that is just not waiting too long to hit the check down. Like 1-2, get it to the guy and keep the play moving, keep the offense moving from station to station.
Stay ahead of the chains, something that this offense has struggled to do in the past.
So yeah, that was definitely interesting. And that, like McGowan, he was a real receiving threat at Oklahoma. I think he's going to, even so at New Mexico State a little bit last year, I think that's going to be I think he's going to bring to the offense. To me, like he's almost like over this past month, he's almost been like the biggest revelation for this football team. It's just like, oh, they got this guy and they think he can be like a legit kind of guy that can maybe carry the offense for them. So that was definitely interesting. No Kendrick Law, Nick, at practice.
Yeah.
Was dressed out but didn't practice. No Troy Stellato.
Yeah.
Law obviously is gonna like we think McGowan's gonna be one of the main guys. We think Law will probably be right up there with him as kind of the generators for the offense. Stellato will be in that rotation. So really your first three receivers were Jamori Macklin, Fred Farrier, J.J. Hester, and then Harley Gilmore was pretty much with the ones the entire time.
Fred Farrier is the steady Eddie in there. And
Sure.
you just, high floor player. I don't know how high the ceiling is. But the one that I got to give him a shout out because like he's just going to be a ball player at some point. I don't know when, but Quisenberry, he's
I mean, there were a lot of those bully throws we're going to.
Oh yeah, I mean, with the twos, he was carving them up. I mean, there's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it, and it didn't matter too. Like a lot of the throws we're referencing were in 11 on 11. Even in 7 on 7, he was.
One thing I will say, just out there today, I just now thought about this now. The big thing with Quisenberry was, is he too small?
Yeah.
I didn't, that didn't stand out to me today. Like, that guy's tiny. So that was, I think.
He is shorter, but it's not.
I think moving out of that, I think that's a good sign.
Yeah.
Because I think that was a big concern for him moving to this next level.
While we're at it, I'm trying to think of any other concerns maybe. There's just some guys that I'm not as high on others. I don't need to put them on blast, but I got a little bit of confirmation today, maybe in that wide receiver room. I thought it was interesting that we had a lot of talk about 4-down stuff, but that's not, they're still rolling out the base package, right? Sam Green at Jack.
I thought Sam Green, if I had a list of winners, he was on that list. I liked what I saw from him today, just some of the physicality, and then one-on-ones, he showed a little more bend than I thought he had as kind of a rusher on the hoop.
In the secondary, I wouldn't. To me, I see J.Q. Hardaway and DJ Waller, and just in my brain, they're similar players, right? So you want, they're going to rotate in, but they had those two guys, both big, lengthy cornerbacks out there to start.
It's clear that they're first two to me in the corner.
Because I thought it might be maybe a Teron Nichols. I wasn't sure which way they were going up, but no, they're going with the big guys. They're riding with them, which is kind of a throwback to your Derek Beatty, Chris Westry, Space Eaters. DJ Waller looks Chris Westry long. Like he is a very lengthy player and a little wiry in the legs maybe, but they were your first two cornerbacks. We mentioned Lovett, or actually we didn't mention them, but Lovett and Ty Bryant were the recipients of those interceptions in that period. And I think it's a good sign for Bryant because if you have a critique of him as a safety, he can be a little robotic, right? And it's a good thing to be a rules follower, but sometimes you just gotta play some freaking ball. So it was good that he was I'm going to read the quarterback's eyes. I'm jumping this route.
Yeah.
I like that, and I also really liked. I mentioned it when we just made a video on the way up here that I'm really high on Quaysheed Scott. I think he's the future at nickel, and he was running with the ones at nickel.
Yeah. He's a guy I think is an important player for them, not only now but in the future. But now I think we got to shift to what everyone wants to hear. It's the offensive line.
The big uglies. Is the big blue wall back? Is it back like it? Do you got to get out what do you call that stuff? The mortar? You're going to get the mortar and start slapping it on there?
Okay, let's start good.
Yep.
Jalen Farmer, really impressed with him today. He was very, like Nick, I talk about this all the time. In the one-on-one pass rush drills, it's made for the defense to win.
Yeah.
It's one-on-one. You're never, especially if you're a guard,
right.
You're never one-on-one there.
Never.
Typically. They have that free range of motion kind of as a rusher. But I thought he looked really good there. And then as a puller, showed some pop. He just looks the part. I was really impressed with him. Josh Braun is who he is. I thought Shias Pete looked good. I didn't really get a great look at Wolfschlager today. Now with Jagger, there were some snap issues. There was a couple low snaps.
Yeah.
And that is the thing there.
Yeah.
Right? And there's a lot tied, I think, to Jagger being the center.
Yeah.
Being their guy in the pivot. But snapping accuracy was an issue. And that showed up today. So
twice, I think.
Yeah, I think it was twice in one period.
Yeah.
So that gets your antennas up, you know. when you start thinking how the season's going to go. So and for Kentucky, they're primarily a shotgun pistol offense.
Yeah, clapping. And, it's first day in pads, so things are happening a little bit faster. He's probably trying to get too much going on in his mind and then forgets to snap the ball. You got to have a little bit of leeway there, give him a little forgiveness, show him a little rope. But to your point, the antenna needs to be up. There's a lot of confidence. Talking with Josh Braun today, he's hit 5 different centers in 5 years of football. It's pretty crazy. There's been no continuity whatsoever for him. But he's never had any concerns so far. So there's a lot riding on that to be successful, Mr. Luckett, as you said, and especially when you see how much bigger he's gotten. I wrote about this previously. That's up on the website right now, but just about players you need to watch. Like Jagger, you know who Jagger is, but he looks different this year.
Sure,
and he's 30 pounds heavier.
Yes.
He's 30 pounds bigger than Evan Weberly. Like you that 30 pounds can matter a lot in SEC football. So you want that to work out, and hopefully it does. This is the beginning. There's a long way to go. I thought the other part too is those interceptions that Calzada threw. It's because part of it's because he had so much time. And, you get to your later reads, and then you start staring at one guy, and the safety jumps it. But I thought they did a good job with pass protection in the team periods. The running, it's hard for me to tell sometimes with the running because, they're not tackling. They don't have pants on. It's kind of a mess in there. So you're like, I don't.
Yeah, we really won't know until they get out on the Toledo game.
Yeah, and if it's a short yardage situation, you're kind of diving at the other guy's legs to block, right? Like you're going low. They're not going to go low on their own guys. So that part was a little hard for me to be able to get a good gauge on it. But I think all in all, Big Blue Wall better.
I will note the 2 drop-off is significant in a few spots.
Everyone.
Everyone wants to talk about the offensive line, this or that, but if they have an injury or 2 injuries, I would be concerned. I think that's a big concern.
A true freshman is tackle 4.
Yeah.
And Darren Stroud.
So they need, and what happens? What happens if Jagger just can't play center either by injury or the snapping?
Right.
How do they put Wibberly in? Does Jagger just not play at that because there wouldn't be a spot for him?
Right.
So that'd be interesting to see what would happen there. But to me, that would be my biggest concern overall is, we've talked about rotation and wanting to have that build up guys. I worry just about the depth of the offensive line because, odds are you're going to, at least one guy's going to miss a couple games.
Injuries happen. They just do. It's part of it. Hopefully, Cats are able to skate by throughout fall camp. Today was day 3. Day 4 tomorrow at Kentucky football. Fan day. Gate doors open 10 a.m. Practice from 11 to about 1 o'clock. So we'll be out there. Come say hey. Don't be shy. We're nice. I won't bite. Maybe a little. Just a little. I need to tell you about our friends at Roback, though. RHOBACK.com. Promo code KSR is going to get you 20% off your first purchase. You know what? I was going to wear my Roback polo today. Wear it tomorrow. Roback.
Yeah, it's not an Izod podcast.
No, we're a Roback podcast. But I've got a couple shirts that are nice. I got a Kentucky State one. That's real sharp. You can get your game day gear too. They've got officially licensed UK gear at Roback. It's comfortable. The collars are real nice. They don't get all wrinkly or anything on you. They look sharp. Make sure you're sharp for game day this fall by visiting Roback.com and using promo code KSR to get 20% off your first Roback purchase. Mr. Luckett. You don't got anything else on practice, do you? If you want more, we got it on the website.
Yeah, go to the board. They had a running diary, and then I kind of posted some of my big.
Yeah.
Jamori Macklin's still your starting punt returner. I know a lot of people were
wondering
curious
about that. We also got highlights too that Peak has up on the YouTube channel right now. So check it out there. And while you're on the board, if you're not on the board, promo code UK1. So we'll keep you updated with everything that's happening tomorrow at Fan Day. That'll get you locked in. And then the best part is the board. Whenever they start having scrimmages, that's the only place where you can find out what's going on. So come see about it over at KSR Plus, KS Board. UK1's going to get you 2 months there. I know we touched on the Mitch Barnhart stuff, but overall big picture, the messaging was more direct. What was the direct response that maybe from Stoops or from Hamden or Brad White that maybe like, oh, I didn't know he'd answer that thing. I'm kind of glad he was straight up with that.
Two things to me really kind of stand out. Like Brad White kind of went and kind of addressed the defensive fall off last year, specifically kind of their run defense.
Yeah.
How it just, like, starting with the Florida game, it was just an absolute collapse.
Yep.
I mean, he gave this big answer, and it was basically like, we didn't handle adversity well, but it was like, but we, when as coaches, kind of got to put them in better spots, but we also got to do, it almost sounded like you got to do a better job of, like, mentally coaching them.
Yeah. The way he described it, it was a little bit preachy, but it also is true in that, hey, these guys deal with more in one day than I did with 4 years. You know, we put a lot on them, and mentally we have to be good mentors to make sure that up here they can be able to withstand it. He was like, you know, a lot of this stuff you don't know until mid-October, and we just didn't. We weren't ready for it. And that, I think, gets to my biggest takeaway with just speaking with everybody around the team. And I joke with you about it, which is anytime you ask about Calzada, well, he's experienced. Can't wait to hear about how experienced he is. But the maturity is just so clear on this team from almost everybody you talk to. And there is a much more business-like mentality.
Adult.
Yeah.
I think they feel like, and I think it's been refreshing that they feel like they've gone out and got some adults. Like you talked to David Gusta today. He is an adult.
Mm-hmm. Josh Braun, same
He's
thing.
an adult.
Shiaz Pete, Seth McGowan.
Yeah.
Like guys who have been through some stuff and have succeeded and are now ready to just do it on a bigger stage.
Yeah. So I think they feel good about that, and I think they seem like they're enjoying like just the process of the offseason at this point. But like, what's the tone if this team can't block or tackle? You know,
Yeah.
like you got to go
How
out.
well can they do it? Yeah.
You got to
gotta
go
do
out and play well. So that was a big point to me. The second one was Bush Hamden kind of admitting like some mistakes last year.
Yeah, particularly with running Brock.
Game one, Brock Vandegrift. They come out and run him, and remember he tries to bow over the safety or whatever, hurts his shoulder, which kind of lingers all year. And then, you put those hits on him, and then second week, South Carolina, he sees ghosts against South Carolina, and then he gets a concussion against Tennessee. So, I know Brock's kind of a hot button issue, and he has a lot of people that don't think he's very good, but like he didn't have much of a chance last year, and I don't think they did a very good job kind of building around him, and so that was Hamden kind of taking some, I think, ownership for how last year played out.
Yeah, and I did just like I feel like we've been kind of, I don't know if getting messed with is the right word, but like it was kind of nice when they would just straight shoot us, like in a lot of this stuff, where you're asking about the running backs and he's like, it's the two transfers, McGowan and Dowdell. We like the other guys, but it goes through those two guys.
Yeah, those are our first two.
Yeah, and essentially at receiver, it's Jamoy Mack and Kendrick Law, and then you know what? You guys fight it out, right? Like it was nice, not to have to play these games of, well, everybody's good, but we're not going to talk about anybody individually. Calzada's getting 75% of the first team snaps. Like that part I really appreciated. Similarly with defense, where I think the part with me that really jumped out with Brad White was that he said, hey, typically you got 6 to 8 guys, they play 75 snaps a game. Like those are your guys. You'll spell them every once in a while to keep them fresh, but like those are the guys you lean on. He didn't say this is going to be a platoon squad, but in a very real sense, in a lot of these cases, like they are going to be rolling guys in and out, where this sub package is going to get 10 snaps, this one's going to get 30 or 40, like in that.
They want to be a strength in numbers team.
Yes.
That was I've talked about this. That was their secret in the portal. When everyone's like, what are they doing? You're losing this many players.
Yeah.
They were attacking it. they believe that they're going to win games because of their depth this year.
Yeah.
So, like, they believe, I think their plan is, like, we want to be our best, like, the way we built it, we're going to be our best in October and December. October and November.
Which has been the program's biggest weakness.
Which has been the opposite, really, the Sullivan Stoops era. They've been strong in September, and then they typically fade in November.
Yeah. And part of that, you can see it, particularly in the trenches. Like, that's where it's clearly the most evident, is that defensive line, because front four, pretty darn good. And, like, you know, is there a huge difference in Sam Green or Cam Owens? Is there a huge – Mike Humphrey Grace probably going to be better than Gerard Smith, but, like, 4 years from now, we might be talking about Gerard Smith as one of the baddest asses that ever played in the trenches, you know? Like, you saw some good stuff from him today. Same thing with some of those corners, right? That you can rotate in. And that was really, like, the quote of the day was Brad White saying that he still believes that class of 2024 could be the most impactful defensive recruiting class they've ever had. They're howling all the Smiths, the Sachem Souls of the world, the Teron Nichols, the Gerard Smith. You know, there's like 100,000 Smiths. But this is a big year for them. Like, a lot of them got a taste of it. Quaysheed Scott, you know, they played on special teams. Well, now we need you to play 20 to 40 snaps a game. Can you be on top of your you-know-what, right? Like, are you busting heads? That ultimately, in my opinion, the transfers kind of, they raise the floor, but the second-year guys, that's going to define the ceiling. Like, are they going to be able to create havoc as guys who can just come in, right? Like, are they going to be able to be playmakers, or are they just only stopping the bleed, or are they an actual issue? Because the thing we saw last year when some guys got hurt, especially at the linebacker spot, I mean, when DJ got hurt, they couldn't stop the run. You know, it was over after that. So that is why, like, what I'm going to be paying most attention to moving forward throughout this fall camp.
Yeah, and I think the other thing to go along with all that, they're very healthy right now. I mean, we talked about Law and Stellato, but I don't think that's anything.
Yeah, receivers.
Long term.
Yeah.
But they are very healthy right now.
I'm like Shannon dinging the buzzer whenever Stoops says motivated. We don't have any actual wood in this office, though. I guess we got a bourbon barrel head over there. I can go knock on that next time. But let's keep it that way. It'd be much, much better that way. Who's your favorite person you talked to today, Luckett? We each probably got a handful of interviews in.
I really enjoyed talking to Seth McGowan. Mm-hmm. You can tell, like, this guy had, made some mistakes, went through it, went down a long road, but is very, like, appreciative and grateful that he's back here.
Grateful?
He did tell us grateful, didn't he, Pete? But also chomping at the bit for, like, this opportunity.
Yeah.
Like he knows this is his chance.
But
David Gusta overall, we're gonna have a video up later you all see. But
I'm excited. Yeah. I want to hear him drop F-bombs.
Yeah, dropped a couple.
And
Domino's, Hooters. I mean, we had a good time, a good conversation.
Doesn't like cicadas.
Yeah, loves Kentucky chicken.
Okay.
Is like probably, the big difference from California, but coach wants to get on him for eating it fried, which maybe you sneak away a couple times and have a couple fried chicken.
When Josh Braun talked about Gusta, that's all the coaches have said nice things, but he's like, me and Jagger said it. Usually these interior guys, you either got a big guy or you got a quick guy, and he can beat you with either. You know, he can beat you with the physicality or with his juice. I love that Josh Braun cut his hair just because he's like, I don't want to fiddle with it. Just shave the head. I don't have to think about it during football season. So he's just not going to cut his hair during football season. Shave it once and he's done. That's what I do, but I shave it once a week. If not, I'd look like
shave it once a week.
I'd look like
Roush is done.
I'd look like a damn chia pet with little sprouts coming up here, there, and everywhere. But the other one too spoke with Hardly Gilmore, and it's one of those things where he's, he doesn't want to touch, he doesn't really want to talk about the Nebraska stuff. But it was a good reminder that, hey, I came here when I was 16. I made some mistakes, like as 16-year-olds do, but grew up a lot in the last year, and he was glad that he had the UK football family to fall back on. It was very much important for him to describe this as a family atmosphere, and hopefully that foundation sets him up for success because did you see him? Like he looks he's pretty scrawny when he showed up here. He looked like a kid, and he's grown up in that year. People forget he showed up at 16 years old. Imagine being on a campus
They with
at
Harley.
16.
We know this. They talk about it today, but he can play.
Yeah.
He's a legit player, and keeping him locked in and keeping him involved, like he can make a difference for this football team. There's no doubt about it.
One player, I mean, I don't know how much Elijah Brown matters, but like that dude, he's got a big trunk. That guy looks like he can drive some people into the ground. And Henry Boyer, when you see Big 87 out there tomorrow, like it's a big SOB. He's a big guy. Shiaz Pete is enormous. I'm sure you all enjoy listening to him on KSR. We've got a long conversation with him on the KSR YouTube channel. We'll be back with more tomorrow.